Hi, and welcome to the Holly Tse Podcast, a show about expressing your brilliance with ease and flow. I'll show you how to take the woo-woo out of the clouds and apply it to real life for effortless action. This show is for world changers and future world changers, so if you know there's more to life and you're wondering what's next, this is your show. Hi, I'm Holly, your host. I'm a speaker, author, teacher of health, vitality, and spirituality, and also a dragon spirit guide. Today, I have something exciting to share with you. Woohoo! It's a new type of podcast feature, which I call Story Time. Story Time is about showing you how guidance from the universe shows up in real life, so that you can apply these teachings from the universe into your own life for growth and expansion. These are stories that I share with my friends and family, and I want to share them with you so that you can benefit from this wisdom as well. I've had very many extraordinary circumstances and experiences in my life, and it's time to share them with my audience. These are the stories that I share with friends and family, and I want you to benefit from the lessons that I learned. So the very first story that I'm going to share in story time is about how I first discovered the universe, how I really truly believed in it. I read tons of books on soul and soul purpose and how the universe is there to support you. And intellectually, I liked reading about it. I think at the heart and soul level, there was a sense that it was true, but I didn't really see it in my real life. It was more like something going on in my head or something that I did, but I didn't quite fully believe it or embrace it. But what happened to me this one day completely changed my mindset. If I had to identify a pivot point in my life, where I went from wanting to believe to actually believing. This was it. And there was a key lesson. What I learned helped me trust in the universe. And that goes a long way to hearing the universe and seeing your life change too. So many years ago, I used to be really into road biking. That's the racing bikes, if you're not familiar with bicycling. The really skinny ones with the really skinny tires, the 10 speeds back in the 1970s only. Maybe this was probably like an 18-speed bike that I had at the time. Anyway, I lived in Toronto at the time, and back then, and even worse now, there really is nowhere to ride your road bike in the city of Toronto because there's just so much traffic. Except about 15-20 years ago, I could actually take the bike, get on the subway, ride all the way to the end of the line, then ride another 5 miles, and then I would be in country back roads. So that's what I did one day. I really wanted to go riding. I didn't want to ride in traffic. I wanted to ride on that nice open country road. So it took about an hour and a half for me to get out there. And I started riding my bike, and I had ridden probably less than a mile when I rolled over something and I heard this sudden rush of air come out of my tire and I had a flat. So I got off my bike, I took a look, thinking, okay, I should be able to patch this or repair this. And what it was this giant screw that actually pierced my tire. So there was a huge hole in the tire and also in the inner tube. And I thought, okay, I've changed tires before. This isn't a big deal. Let me go take a look. Let me see. I think I have a patch kit in my little pouch here. And I did. I'm like, great. Then I was taking off the tire, and then I realized I didn't have the right type of pump with me. There's 2 different types of valves for bicycle pumps. There's a Presta and a Schrader valve. The Schrader valve is for mountain bike tires, and the Presta valve is for road bike tires. And I had another bike, a touring bike, and that used the Schrader valve. So I usually carried the pump with the Schrader valve with me. And guess what? I hadn't really thought about that. And because you don't usually ever have to pump your tires that much, I didn't realize that I had grabbed the wrong pump. I was carrying the pump with the Schrader valve and I needed the Presta valve. So I thought, oh no, I can't pump my tire. What's going to happen? Probably about a week or two before this incident, I had learned about a teaching on how important it was to have faith in the universe, to trust, and that when things weren't going the way you wanted, to actually just surrender. So this is the key lesson I learned, which was to surrender, that you can't control everything, and sometimes, actually probably all the time, it's better to just let go and ask for help and to trust in the universe that it's there to support you. So since I had recently learned that, I thought, why don't I give this a try? Because I'm in the middle of nowhere. I have a flat tire. I can't fix the tire. What do I do? So I looked up at the sky, and I remember specifically saying out loud, okay, universe, help me out here. And within 5 minutes, I saw somebody riding a bike. And I thought, yes, this person probably has a pump. My tire's going to get fixed. And then I'm going to be able to continue my ride. And I thought, yes, thank you, universe. It works. It works. So as the cyclist approached, I flagged him down and I explained my predicament. And then he said, oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't have a pump with me. I was like, no, thanks a lot, universe. And then he rode off and I was still stuck out there. So remember, this was 15, 20 years ago when people didn't carry cell phones around with them. So I was stuck out there. And then I was thinking, well, what do I do? I should start walking. Maybe if I walk far enough, I'll come across a bike shop. Yeah, that's how the universe can help me. I'll come across a bike shop. So the road basically went in two directions. And I was like, do I go north or do I go south? And then I decided I'm going to go south because at the very least that will walk me closer to Toronto. So I started heading south. And I'm pushing my bike along. And at some point, I see a fire station. And I thought to myself, should I go inside? And I was like, I don't know. Well, maybe the air pump they have will somehow work with my bike. And at the very least, I thought to myself, well, the firemen are going to be hunky and good looking, so let me go in there. I walked into the fire station and encountered the weirdest situation. I did not see a single fireman or firewoman. Instead, there were a whole bunch of people standing around, just regular civilians. And when I walked in, they turned and stared at me. Like I wondered if I had walked into some weird cult or something. And I was like, okay, everybody looks normally dressed. What's going on here? So I decided to explain what was going on. I said, I got a flat tire. My pump doesn't work. Do you guys know if there's like a bike shop nearby, or is there a phone book that I can look up? Yeah, this was 15, 20 years ago, so people looked up stuff in phone books back then. And again, I got this blank stare from everyone. I thought, what is going on here? It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, what's going on? Finally, people started to speak. Most of them shaking their heads, going, sorry, don't know, can't help you, sorry. And I thought, oh, great, universe, thanks a lot again. That's my mind going, I don't believe you, I don't trust you, I asked you for help, you let me down. And then this woman emerges from the group and she said to me, oh, I do a lot of cycling. What seems to be the problem here? And then my heart leaped. I was saying, hey mind, look, here it is, here's your help. And I explained about the flat tire and needing a Presta valve pump. And then the woman said, oh, I'm so sorry. Normally I carry my bike gear with me, but I don't have it today. And again, my hopes were dashed. And I'm like, oh no. And then she paused and she looked at me and she said, Holly? And I paused. I looked at her more closely and I said, Carol Ann? It turns out we knew each other, except we only knew each other while riding our bikes. I had joined a cycling group about 2 or 3 weeks prior, and she was the one leading the group, only I didn't recognize her because when we go riding, we have these crazy helmets and these crazy sunglasses and all this colorful bike jersey, like we look like caricatures of ourselves. And then after we realized we knew each other, she said, I thought I recognized that bike. We knew each other's bikes and we knew what the lower half of our faces looked like with helmets and shades on. So she said to me, oh, you know what? Let me finish up here. And then when I'm done, I know where there's a bike shop. I can take you there and you can get your bike fixed. And I thought, OMG, the universe really does deliver. I surrendered, I asked for help, and I got help. What are the odds of me meeting this woman in this fire station? It turned out that she was there because she worked for an insurance company and they were doing a child seat safety workshop at the fire station. That's who all those people were. That's probably why they were all dazed looking. They probably had young babies and they were not getting enough sleep. And it just so happened that that particular day, at that particular time, in the middle of nowhere, in this one fire station that I decided to walk into, that I happened to ride past, I met the one woman who was totally into bicycles. And because she knew me, that's why she offered to drive me to the bike shop. So I got the tire fixed and I just headed home because by then quite a bit of time had transpired. But I remember going back to my house and thinking, wow, this really does work. All I needed to do was surrender and trust and believe, because there was no way that this could have been a coincidence. There was just too many factors, too many odd circumstances, all of it just transpiring in this moment. I had to have ridden over the screw. 1 centimeter in either direction, I would not have punctured my tire. I hadn't had a flat in years. And then the decision which way to go. And I decided to head south. That one I could see, analytically that would make sense because you want to head back to the city. But then the decision to go into the fire station, because I remember debating whether to go in or not. And it was the thought of hunky firemen that got me to go in. Because I really didn't think that they were going to have the right type of valve that I needed to pump my tires. And then the odds of being there when the child seat clinic was going on and that it was being led by this woman that I knew who was the group leader of the cycling group that I had just joined a few weeks earlier. So from that moment on, I vowed to myself that I am always going to trust the universe. Haha. Well, I kind of kept that promise here and there. I can't say that I distrusted the universe, but let's just say sometimes my mind would forget this. But when I remembered and applied that lesson, that's when things would expand. That's when problems would resolve. And I have many more stories to share with you about that. So I hope you enjoyed story time, and I hope that by sharing this story of how I learned this lesson of surrender, that you'll be able to apply it in your life as well. Or maybe this is just a reminder to you, like you've already learned this lesson, a reminder that if there's something you're struggling with right now or something that's blocking you, to surrender. So on that note, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. You can find every episode on my website at www.hollytse.com. So thank you for listening. Bye for now.